Welcome to the Neurodiverse Lens, a CDL podcast.
Hi, welcome back to the Neurodiverse Lens. This is a CDL podcast, and you're here today with myself, Jordan, who's the Senior Manager of Communications here at the organization, and I'm joined with Olivia Fong.
Hi.
Who is our Social Emotional Program Manager at CDL. And today is kind of a special episode. It is episode 2 of our Symposium series. It is our Learning Together theme week. So today we're kind of going to be talking a little bit about learning styles, some strengths, growths. I really want to make this more of like a casual conversation. Me and Olivia already don't stop talking in general to begin with, so I'm trying to emulate that through our conversation today. But I'm really excited to have you here, Olivia.
Yeah.
Thank you for, we kind of voluntold you that you were doing the podcast, but
Yeah.
you were like, yeah, I'm doing it. Like,
yeah. After the first time you guys had me, I had so much fun.
Yeah.
So
Good.
Okay, keep voluntelling me. Gets me out of just the office.
Yeah, exactly. So our theme for this week across all of our workshops is learning together. So learning doesn't just happen in the classroom. It can also happen in our relationships, our friendships, our homes, and our workplaces as well. I know that I'm kind of constantly learning and growing as an individual, both in my professional and personal life. I feel like I talk to you a lot, Olivia, about all the stuff that I'm learning, even just being in my relationship with my partner, how to navigate some of his struggles because he has ADHD, and kind of just working with that. I'm not sure if you want to talk about kind of anything that you learn at your house or in the workplace or anything like that in your friendships.
Yeah. For me, it was realizing as an adult who's diagnosed with ADHD that a lot of my friends in high school were also neurodiverse, so it's kind of like we gather together. There's just this sense of belonging, whether you know or are aware of a diagnosis or not, and I think that's really cool. At home, my husband actually has a learning difference, so we're really good at like being open, where if my ADHD is causing like a miscommunication between the two of us, we'll be like, whoa, it's a moment, pause, let's try it again and stuff. And it's really helpful. I think it makes us really strong, my husband and I. And it also really helps with parenting. Yeah. Whether they're neurodiverse or not. It's very helpful to consider like the social emotional aspect, but also just like he doesn't stop growing and changing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like truly a benefit to having at least one person in the relationship who is, neurodiverse. You're kind of able to break down those like communication barriers a bit more like candidly to kind of have those more like deep conversations with one another. I feel like that also happens, and why I feel like we work together so well is because we're just kind of both open books with one another, and we're able to kind of like talk about, things that are a bit harder, like things that aren't making sense maybe in the workplace, or like just be more open, and it helps us, I feel like, be more accountable with one another as well. Like if I forgot something or if I missed something, like I'm not afraid to like take full accountability for it and be like, yeah, no, I messed up, like thanks for like calling me out. And it's not even really a call out, it's just like hey man, like what's going on? What's going on,
where do you need help, you know what I mean?
And like constantly offering that help and stuff. So I feel like learning truly does go like so far past the classroom nowadays. And it's like just in every aspect of your life. But I feel like there's a lot of takeaways from our symposium that people are going to be able to kind of take those skills and put them into action and in their life throughout the different sessions that we have going on this month. But I also kind of wanted to talk about how neurodiverse learners can bring different strengths, passions, and they have different processing styles when it comes to learning. And I know you're in you've been in our social emotional programs mostly at CDL, but now you're kind of transitioning into a lot of the academic side as well. Can you kind of maybe give me an example of maybe some processing styles that you see even within our students in the programs?
Yeah. I think I'm learning math again. You know, the box method in long division.
Yeah.
I can't believe I can remember how to do that. It's so exciting. But what I see all of our amazing like tutors and educators doing is adapting their teaching style for each student that they've got in the group and recognizing that they might all need something different, but not making a big spectacle out of it, which is really, really great. So we've got some students who might need their tutor to show them the step-by-step process before they can go and practice it themselves. Other times they'll say, let me try to do it all by myself, and then you check my work with me. Right? And our educators are all so amazing at being like, yeah, if that's how you want to do it, fantastic, because that's kind of like, I know we're talking about learning styles, but it's also a really big piece of like self-advocacy. It's being able to say like, this is how I know I learn best, or this is how I know I'm going to work through it and not feel like I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I have been joining, Carolyn's been putting on these weekly learning workshops, for our staff team internally, and I've been joining them for the sessions, and honestly I'm learning stuff like the most important thing about like visual schedules, like I know that's something she talks about all the time, but I mean like it truly does make such a difference. Like any event that I go to, any or like when I'm at the event or before the event, like I want to see the schedule, I want to see the timeline, I want to see what's going on, where I have to be, where I'm going to park, how I'm going to get there. Like I want to know it all before I'm there. And then when I'm there, I'm going to be looking at it the whole time, making sure that they're staying on schedule, and then pretend I'm not going to have, you know, a little moment by myself when they're not on schedule. But yeah, I just that's something that like I've seen in action in our programs, being at our main center in Burlington a lot, and I see the difference in the kids when the educators are using those schedules, versus when maybe things are a little bit rushed and they didn't have time to do one, which in all fairness, it happens to everyone, but I can really see it working with the kids when it is put in place.
A couple of weeks ago, I dropped the ball and I was supporting one of our educators. I forgot all about the visual schedule. It was there, but they are so used to crossing off each task, and I just moved on. And they go, Miss Olivia, it's my turn with the visual schedule, right? They love that consistency. They love knowing what to expect, and it makes the sessions go by so much smoother for them because they know, hey, we did our chanting. We are so much closer to that break. We're so much closer to the game. And it's,
That's actually so true. Yeah, the crossing off. That must be so satisfying
it's
for
that
them to be
hit, right? It's that dopamine hit
I'm
of
done this.
one more thing we've done, right? And it's a nice quick one that they can feel so included in, instead of the educator saying, well, no, I'm going to cross it off. No, they're part of that. They're part of that schedule.
Yeah, and I know the students love having their own whiteboard markers and all their very specific colors. So I know that could probably feel so good for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Something that I also kind of wanted to bring up, and I personally don't like saying, a neurodiversity is a superhero or superpower or anything like that. But I saw this quote online that learning differences are learning brilliances, or something along the lines of that. And it kind of pulls away from that superpower mentality, and if that's how if you're listening to this and if that's how you resonate with that phrase, all the power to you. I just personally don't like using that specific language, but something as a learning brilliance, can kind of, I liked it a bit better because it's not, I don't know. Sometimes people can look at it as someone who or someone who is neurodiverse, you know, if they have a learning disability or if they have ADHD or autism, you know, they might not feel like that's necessarily a superpower all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes some of the skills that fall under, you know, the strengths of those diagnoses can feel like a superpower maybe in some ways, but yeah, I don't know. It can be a touchy subject, but
Fair enough, yeah.
but some of the skills that or some of the characteristics that I kind of pulled from that was hyperfocus, creativity, pattern recognition, and problem solving. And I really think these can kind of, you know, I relate to a lot of these characteristics myself, especially the creativity side of things and the hyper focus.
Yeah.
You know, I can be in the office for 8 hours a day, but then when I come home and I have an idea in my brain of something that I want to create for the organization, or a vision that I have for, you know, maybe an event or a social media campaign, and then I find myself sitting at my computer for another 8 hours in the same day, and you know, I'm just constantly working at it, but it like truly doesn't feel like work, because it is like a passion of mine of like, I have this vision in my head and I need to somehow like creatively, like, I don't know, just like
express it.
Yeah,
just
express
get it,
it. Yeah, and get it out there. And I'm not sure if you've ever experienced anything like that, or if you've noticed like in our classrooms or anything, if students have kind of emulated those characteristics at all.
Ooh, I see it all the time. I see it when they're doodling on their whiteboards. But it's, to me, it might be a doodle, but if you get those extra couple of minutes, there's actually a very elaborate story going on that whiteboard.
Yeah.
And they get a little upset. They don't want to erase it. Totally understandable. I love to take a screenshot, just a picture of it, send it to parents, right? It's a nice way to say, like, look at how much fun, especially like Friendship Club and the Lego. As soon as Lego comes out, put everything else away.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
put
that's
everything
true.
else away. You know that they are going to build these amazing towers. I think back to one of our students who was like, look at what I made. It's a pizza oven. And I'm looking, and then they put the little pizza in their oven. I'm like,
yeah.
I would not have thought of this. So I see creativity all the time in like not just the social well-being programs, but in literacy, in math. Some of the games or activities that our educators have them do will be like, create a silly sentence based off of the words we learned today in our word bank. And I'm like, I am not nearly as creative. I'm starting to get a little jealous, right? I love seeing that. Sometimes it's that hyper focus of putting something away. Right? It's sometimes with the Lego we just dump it all back, but other kids I'll see they'll go and sort it by color and then put each color in. Right? Yeah, I see it all the time.
Yeah, and I feel like I like resonate with that so much, like looking back at my childhood, and like I even remember one Christmas, my mom was saying I was the easiest kid to buy for, like, gifts for, because she's like, I could literally wrap up like individual coloring books and like just like packs of markers and crayons. She's like, we literally have it on VHS of like you opening your coloring book and a pack of markers, and you like didn't want to open anything else. You were content and you just kept coloring. And like there's like my dad's bringing me over more gifts. He's like ripping them open, being like, oh my God, look, a Barbie Corvette. And I was like, okay. Like,
fair enough.
I was like so hyper focused on like coloring and drawing and like having a creative outlook as a kid, or like spending time alone in my room. And my dad's like, why is she alone? And it's like, I'm just laying on the carpet coloring.
Yeah, for me it was, my hyper focus was books. As soon as I found a series, like if it wasn't like a one-off and there was 12 books, good luck finding me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to find me. I'm in my room reading. But that was always my thing, because I loved kind of expanding on a pre-existing world or a pre-existing story.
Yeah, I think there were a lot of book series that I also liked as a kid. I think there was the series of Unfortunate Events. Was a good one.
I loved Warrior Cats. Oh. Yeah, Warrior Cats was my thing growing up, for sure.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, I wish I read a bit more when I was a kid, but I was like a lot into the coloring, but I mean, yeah. I kind of wanted to bring up sensory needs,
Ooh, okay.
because I know a lot of our students that attend our programs, you know, they can have different sensory needs. I even know, like, as employees too, like, we all have
I
different
changed
sensory
4 times
needs.
today because I couldn't find jeans
Yeah.
or pants that made me feel okay
Yeah.
to be here. I get it.
Right. I think I've mentioned it before in a previous episode, but I said something about my socks, about
Yeah.
how they can be different socks, like they can look different, but they have to be from the same pack because they have to feel the same on my foot. I don't care what they actually look like, but they have to feel the same on each of my feet, or else it's game over.
Yeah.
Like, I'd
No, I
rather
remember
have
that,
no
yeah.
socks on, and then that's a whole other situation as soon as I feel something on the bottom of my foot. But speaking of which, yeah, so I wanted to kind of talk about how sensory needs can kind of shape different pathways of learning. And if you kind of have any input on that in terms of like the programs that we're able to deliver at CDL.
Yeah. I think when I think of like the sensory aspect of our programming, it is around making sure students are aware of like other people's sensory
Yeah.
needs, right? They are kids. Sometimes we get a little bit excited. We get a little bit
Yeah.
loud, right?
Us.
Rowdy. Right, us, exactly. Sometimes we are part of the problem. I know that. But what might look like a fun time for some of them might be like it is getting too loud,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden there's lots more bathroom breaks and things like that, just so that they can go and find a quiet spot to like
Right.
regulate and things like that. Sometimes it's honestly one thing I have seen recently was pen versus paper.
Oh.
A student didn't like how the pen sounded on the paper, or sorry, the pencil sounded on the paper compared to the pencil. It was making like a little, like,
Yeah.
nails on a chalkboard type of sound and things like that. And as soon as we got to the bottom of it, it's okay. Do you want a pen? Do you want a crayon? Like, we can modify that. It's still a writing utensil.
For sure.
You know, it doesn't need to be in pencil. It's easy because you can erase it, but there's no rule that says you need to use a
Yeah.
pencil, right? Same thing with, do you really need to sit in the chair, or can you stand at your desk because
Right.
it helps you with your fidgeting? Or maybe you just want to like sit on the floor,
Yeah.
right? Cross your legs, those sort of things. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it definitely helps. I know at our main office, the desks are able to
The
kind of
sit-stand ones,
adjust
yeah.
into standing desks. But yeah, I guess I never really thought about the pen and paper one. And as I'm thinking back, I like to really only use one type
I
of
only
pen,
like one type of pen. Yep.
which is a Pentel RSVP 0.5 point. So I literally made my dad buy a pack of them
That's
because
funny.
I was like, they're the best pens.
I'll have to
And
try
I
that.
was like,
I like the Pentel Gel X.
Oh, yes.
They
Okay.
don't smudge, but they look like gel pens. It's very nostalgic.
Very smooth.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
Right? But that's what I mean.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
use
actually
other
so funny.
pens,
Yeah.
but ideally I've always got a pack in my bag just in
Right.
case they're
Yeah.
like really
Even when I was writing on these cue cards, I just grabbed a pen out of the pen bin at the office, and I don't want to say I hated it, but it's
not
not
your
my
favorite.
best penmanship work.
Fair enough.
But that's actually, yeah, that is really funny because that is like so me. I resonate with that student very much. And kind of talking about sensory needs and maybe kind of stepping away from the group, I wanted to talk about barriers as well. And there's a few different points that I have here that I kind of wanted to speak about. The quote unquote, you know, good student mentality of
Okay.
like what, you know, is the stereotypical good student, of how that might be a barrier to a lot of the students that we serve, because I just think it's such a very loaded statement,
Very
I should
loaded.
say.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, do we really have the time?
I know.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about when it comes to that?
I wanted to kind of, I guess, unravel a bit of how this can be problematic terminology,
Okay.
because a lot of the students that we serve at CDL, you know, And sometimes even their parents as well that we, have resource calls with or communicate with them through email or anything like that, they might be not a good parent in the eyes of kind of the
society and social media.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So I kind of wanted to, I guess, unravel that a bit on how, yeah, it can just be very harmful if, you know, neurodiverse students are hearing like, oh, Jimmy's a good student or Sally's a good student, but they're not necessarily hearing that directed towards them, even though maybe they are completing the homework, but they're just not doing it maybe in the right way, or sorry, I shouldn't say right way, but in the way of
the expected
what
way.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And kind of how our students at CDL might be experiencing some of that as well. Yeah, if you had any thoughts or anything on that.
I think back to something Carolyn says all the time. Nobody works hard to get a C at school, right? I think that's something that like resonated because I was that student who was trying really hard, but my grades weren't always the best. Yeah, sorry, it's like super loaded because we think of like what is a good student. No, that's okay. No, I think it's a really good topic to discuss because we have this idea of the perfect student or an ideal student, and we put it on the student when they don't behave or act like that.
Yeah.
When are they being told what a good student is, right? Do they know how to behave in that situation? What if it's something that they just physically can't do or emotionally can't do in that moment, right? If you had a bad day at school and you come into programming, whether we like it or not, that bad day trickles into evening sessions, right? And we've got to be a lot more forgiving with students, or just people, to be honest, right? But we've got to be a lot more forgiving and recognize that like context plays a huge part in how a student is able to like present themselves and how they are able to put the effort in, right? Especially if you've got a student who, is always super engaged, they love coming, they have one bad session, we'll say, and it's just because they got off the bus late, they got to programming late, and just throws off their whole day. So they're a little fidgety because guess what? They miss snack time. Right? In that 15-minute window when they have a snack between school and programming, completely throws it off. And we say, they weren't well behaved today. Well, is it that they weren't well behaved, or was it just today was not a great day? Right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I really think we're kind of, underestimating that emotional piece of what a child goes through day by day, and especially if they're not hearing that like positive reinforcement, maybe even at the before or after school care that they go to, maybe in the morning trying to get ready to go to school, or throughout the day in the classroom. And then like how you said, it trickles down into after school programming at CDL. They might be tired. Our session might be really loud. A lot of times it comes down to that snack time. I remember countless of days of getting picked up from school and being, ran around to my brother's extracurriculars because my dad worked late. My mom was home, so she took us everywhere. And it was like, well, we're not getting dinner till after his soccer game. And I was like, I'm not playing soccer, actually. I'm hungry.
I know how I, as an adult, get when I am hangry. And I'm supposed to have all these tools to, like, regulate myself, maybe keep some snacks in my bag. And that's me as an adult struggling, right? So if I, am somebody who's supposed to have all these tools, can't handle it sometimes.
Right.
How are we expecting students who are like youth, how are we expecting them with no tools, no support, sometimes no way to articulate when they're having a moment to push through it?
Yeah, exactly. And I think prime example was I woke up this morning, drove my boyfriend to work. I packed him a lunch in the 5 minutes we had before then. Came home, packed my mom and dad a lunch. Do you think I packed myself a lunch for today?
About it. Yep.
No. And I'm going to be at the office until 8 o'clock tonight. So no. So I just know I already set myself up for failure while I was trying to fill everyone else's buckets up, making sure they were taken care of. And yeah, so it's like, yeah. And I really hope that even with like the influence of social media and everything, like parents can, you know, give themselves some grace too if they know that, you know, their child isn't that stereotypical good student, and, you know, finding the small successes in each day that goes by,
absolutely.
you know, like, oh, you got your socks and your boots on and your scarf today. Like, that's fantastic. You remembered all the steps that we needed to do before headed out the door today. Or just, you know, you got home from school and you hung up your backpack. That's a win.
That is a win.
That,
and I think that's something we forget
yeah,
is small wins are still wins.
exactly.
Right? And all these small wins can compile into this massive win at the end of the week or at the end of the month or in programming at the end of a term, right? When we're doing our like updates and saying like, hey, this is what you worked on these last 9 weeks. You should be so proud of yourself.
Yeah.
You know, that's something I really like to remind the kids to help them stay motivated. Yes, it's great for other people to be proud of you, right? We're humans. We want external like validation, but it's most important that like you're proud of yourself for doing something hard.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what should keep motivating you, is knowing that like you can do hard things. You've just got to push through it, and like other people will be proud because you're also proud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of talking about barriers brings me into a topic we talk about all the time is universal design for learning.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted you to, I guess, I kind of wanted to talk to you about how there are multiple ways to engage, and we say it's based around people who are neurodiverse, but it's really designed for everyone.
Yeah.
How we engage all different types of learners to be able to work through the difficulties that they might experience and kind of feel in our programs, but also like in their own lives as well. And I know it's kind of based, like we serve a lot of students, but like we also do serve their parents as well through advocacy calls and through our monthly workshops with parents and everything, and how the things that we do at CDL help them kind of take in the information, but kind of based in that universal design lens, I guess. So I wanted to see if you were able to talk to maybe a point of something that we do in our programs for students, and then I guess I kind of want to touch on what we can do for parents as well.
So when it comes to the students, it's, you know, offering the information in different ways or offering participation in different ways. So if it's like a rec program and the sport that you're playing that day is soccer, the student says, I don't want to play soccer. That was always me. I like to pick the daisies or be goalkeeper because for the most part, if my team did a good job, nobody was at the net.
Yep.
But what we can do is say, well, if you don't want to play, why don't you be scorekeeper? Right? Or why don't you help us with the whistle, right? Mm-hmm. Like there are other ways to keep them engaged. It might not necessarily be what, you know, was according to plan. They can still feel a part of it in different ways, right? It's the same thing. Maybe a student wants to read out their decodable text. Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's fine. We can do that. Other students might want to draw a picture after reading it to themselves. Yeah. Right? That's still a great way to show that you are reading the passage and you're doing something that touches on your creativity. It is providing you a chance to show, I did read it and this is what I took away from the reading. Yeah. Going back to what you were saying about parents, it's the same thing, right? Are we offloading 15 different chores that you have to do when you get home from school and saying it once, or you know that they get off the bus at the same time every day? If you're not home yet, can you send them a quick reminder? Hey, can you do A, B, and C when you get home? Let me know when you're done.
Right.
Right? It's offering frequent check-ins if you know that your child needs more support with that like self-directed task.
Right.
It could also be just having lots of reminders. We now have Carolyn will love this. We now have a visual schedule at our house,
Nice.
so that Isaiah knows, like, hey, in the morning we're gonna have breakfast, and then it's time to go to daycare.
Yeah.
And from night to night, it might be a different dinner that we're having, or we try to set up different activities after he gets home. But he, at least in the morning, will know what to expect. And if we make those changes, we try to talk him through it too. Right? Just to help prepare them for those changes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I try to emulate a lot of that when it comes to some of the services that we offer for the parents of the kids that attend CDL, especially with our monthly free workshops. You know, we created on the registration forms that parents can automatically sign up for the workshops, so they don't have to be filling out a form every month. Parents will automatically receive the recording afterwards, so they don't have to even like attend live, because a lot of times it does overlap with program time. But you know, I love on a Saturday morning when I'm booting around the house doing chores, listening to my podcasts, watching my YouTube videos, or listening to them while I'm kind of, you know, doing a different activity or kind of prepping for the weekend. So that's kind of where I find myself rewatching or re-listening to a lot of things. So I don't ever, you know, blame parents if they don't attend live to our monthly workshops, because they got a lot on their plates.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, and kind of the same thing with our advocacy calls. Like, parents can book a free resource call with us. They can either do it over the phone, we can do it over Microsoft Teams. If, you know, they need that kind of in-person connection, like, you know, we can always set something up where we can talk to them face to face or anything like that. But yeah, and same with our registration forms as well. Having those in-person
like
registration days
was really helpful.
Yeah.
They got to kind of map out and see, like, oh, is this the program site that makes the most sense for us? Because then they can do like the logistics of like public transit or what the commute, just like driving around is. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think, you know, every day working at CDL, I'm even learning new things on how to help kind of work with the families that we serve and how we can kind of push that out into the community even more. And, you know, I've been with the organization now for, I think, what is it, over 3 years now?
I think so.
So it's like, that's quite a while. And I truly do learn something like every single day working here. But yeah, I that kind of leads me into wanting to talk about, as this episode is for our week 2 Learning Together theme of our month-long symposium. We have 3 fantastic speakers this week. So Tuesday, March 10th, we have our very own Maureen, who's doing numeracy and neurodiversity. So she's going to be doing an hour-long workshop for our symposium attendees, all about numeracy, math, and kind of working through those fundamental skills with, if you're neurodiverse, or have a learning difference or anything like that. Maureen is a very highly skilled tutor that we have at CDL, and I overhear her sessions every single day that I am in the office. She is there teaching student after student after student, and she is honestly so fantastic to listen to. She's just so knowledgeable, a little sarcastic. I like it. So it's she is truly a great teacher, and I'm very excited for her to be able to teach all of our attendees as well. And on March 11th, we have Samantha Sweet, our Director of Programming, who's going to be teaching our kids to the right to read at home. So she's going to be diving into all of our literacy things about the Ontario curriculum and how to kind of navigate that as a parent at your house. Samantha is also a fantastic teacher. I'm very, very excited to hear and to facilitate her workshop as well. I know she has a lot of knowledge to give. And yeah. And then on Thursday, March 12th, we have Tara Carmen French from Artemis Assessment. She is going to be talking about small changes, strong wins. This is going to be kind of an advocacy talk for parents and caregivers of neurodiverse students at your house. So I'm very excited for our workshops for week 2. I know you're presenting during week 3, so we're going to be talking about your presentation in our next episode, but I am very excited for that. But yeah, we have a great lineup of speakers this week. If you're tuning into the podcast and you haven't purchased your ticket yet, tickets are going to be live all month as well. So as soon as you purchase your ticket, if it's week 2, you'll receive all the recordings from week 1. But a virtual pass is only $60, and that will get you access to all 10 sessions throughout the entire month. And you'll have access to all the recordings afterwards. And then at the end of the month, on March 27th, at 6 p.m., we're going to be having our Open Doors, Open Minds event at our office in Burlington. So that will be very exciting. There's going to be food. There's going to be student work hung up. It's going to be kind of like a walkthrough of our center. You can see how our classrooms are set up and everything like that. So it's going to be really exciting to kind of allow parents to get that like hands-on experience of like what actually happens at CDL, how we teach and everything like that. So if you're interested, you can head to our website, diverselearners.ca/symposium. You can purchase your virtual pass or your in-person pass, or you can purchase a bundle pass altogether. But yeah, before we wrap up, I just have a couple more questions.
Okay.
What's one shift that you've changed how you approach learning?
Okay, this is actually a really good question. Because I was just talking about it with my sister. With the ADHD and the autism, if I'm not good at something right away, don't bother. I'm not doing it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was talking with my sister about that, and she goes, you know what? It's important to trust the people who are there to help you learn.
Yeah.
Right? So in the last couple of weeks, I've been really patient with myself and saying, like, it's okay to not know everything right away, all at once, or ever.
Yeah.
Because that's learning. It's supposed to be ongoing. It's not supposed to be, that's it. You have finished learning every possible piece of information. Nothing else needs to happen, right? That has been the biggest shift for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I 2 years ago, on my birthday, I had decided I wanted to get a sewing machine because I thought I was going to be a seamstress, and I thought I was going to know everything right away. And my mom bought me a sewing machine for my birthday, and turns out I wasn't good at it. I was watching.
Is it collecting dust?
Not anymore.
That's good.
Because I didn't give up.
Yeah.
But I very much had that mentality of
Yeah.
like, if I'm not good at it, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. But I really, really had to work so hard on like, no, it's okay. I just spent all this money on this fabric. It's garbage now. But it's fine.
Okay.
I learned.
Exactly.
And now, like, I have made countless of like tote bags. I made like
Ooh.
Kindle covers, like
Nice.
little wallets, makeup bags, everything. Like and that's like one skill I'm like very proud of because it's
That's
like
really
a
cool.
creative outlet that's like more like multimedia
Yeah.
instead of just like drawing or painting. So yeah, it's hard.
It is.
It's really hard to do that. So like,
especially like when you go and you see everybody else seem like they're an expert, but you only get like a snapshot of what it took to like make the wallet.
That's been me
right?
watching
You could just
the
like
Olympics.
post exactly, right? I like to think I could totally do that. I still don't know how to skate, right? But I think that's been the biggest thing is just remember, like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Learning is not supposed to happen in one shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my last question before we kind of wrap up is, what is something that families could try to shift their approach, or a little nugget of wisdom for our families that are listening to our podcast right now?
I would say the same piece of advice I'm trying to live by, which is it's okay to not have it right away.
Yeah.
But as the parent, you know, it's okay to not always have the answers and to learn with your kids. And I think that's very important right now, because, you know, it's a great way to do something as a family, right? Like, do it as a unit. But I also think that by showing that in adulthood we don't have all the answers, kids are going to be way more patient with themselves too.
Yeah.
They're going to be way more patient, say, you know what, my mom didn't know the answer right away,
Yeah.
but she showed me where I can go to find the information that I'm looking for.
I love that.
Or she showed me that it's okay to get frustrated if I don't know right away, but we'll get there. Yeah.
I love that. That is such a great way to kind of wrap up our episode. Thanks, Olivia.
Thanks for having
I
me
really
back.
appreciate you coming on and
Yeah.
having this kind of loaded conversation with
It was a
me.
little, yeah.
I
no
appreciate
warning.
that.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
I
That's
sent
okay.
you
I'm
the
just
notes.
kidding, I know.
But thank you all for listening to the Neurodiverse Lens. And I really hope that we see you guys at our March-long symposium. If you are interested in purchasing a virtual pass or an in-person pass or a bundle, you can visit diverselearners.ca/symposium. Or if you're on the mobile site, you can click the drop-down menu and just click Symposium. And you can purchase your tickets through there. And we're really looking forward to our next episode, number 3 for our Symposium series, which is going to be advocating together. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Neurodiverse Lens, a CDL podcast. For more information, visit diverselearners.ca.